Hello, my name is Cormac Kyo, and I want to show you some of the coach features of RowCatcher.com. So I've logged into RowCatcher.com as a coach of name Fred, and Fred is a member of Commercial Rowing Club. And Fred has the various different training plans that he's created here in front of him in the list. But if we go and create a new plan, we can give the plan a name. So let's call it the September plan, for example. And that is now created in the database. So once the plan is created, I can then start building up the plan. I can give it a description. Okay, so this is a plan to ease athletes back into training after the summer break, for example, or something like that. And we can assign athletes who are in our club to the plan. So for example, we have somebody called David Athlete, we have Jane, we've got various different users of the system and athletes within the club who we can assign this plan to. We can also assign based on a squad. So we could say we have the junior men's group of athletes in the club. We can assign this plan to all of them in one go, like this, or the junior women's squad, or whatever those squad names are. Okay, so once you've done that, we can now look at what goes into the plan. So a plan consists of many different training sessions. So let's create a session. Okay, so we could have a Saturday morning session, and we can give that a description: long paddle, steady state. Okay, you might give it a longer description, work on technique, mostly. Okay, we can assign this session to a date. So if it's going to be our Saturday morning session, we better put it on a Saturday. We could say it's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we expect this training session to last maybe 90 minutes. We can flag this session as being in a particular training zone, so we can say that this is a UT2 aerobic endurance session, for example. And we can also select the mode of training, so it might be sculling, sweep rowing, it could be ergometer, it could be cycling, weight training, body circuits, or running. Let's say it's a sculling session, and then we can, if we want, identify a boat type. So we could say it's all in singles or doubles or quadruples. We don't have to specify that, but we can if we wanted to. And then we should save the session itself. Okay. And that basically gets added there. Now, the next thing we do is, just as a training plan will consist of many different sessions, a session can consist of many different pieces. Okay, so we can create a piece for this session. So we could say that this session will have a distance piece, and that might be to row steady for 6,000 meters, for example. And for that, we might expect the athletes to have a target heart rate of, we can prescribe it. You don't have to put this in, but you might say it's going to be 155. And you might say that the target stroke rate for this piece is, let's say, 22. Okay, and we can create that piece, and that gets then added into the training session here. We can add other types of pieces. We can say add a timed piece where we can specify the time. It might be 20 minutes. 20-minute piece, and again we could specify a heart rate if we want of 150 and a target stroke rate of maybe it was 24 this time. We can add that in to our session. So a session can consist of as many different pieces as you want. Another type of piece that's interesting is an interval set. Okay, so the interval set, we can specify the on part of the interval as time, distance, or number of strokes. So we could say row for 300 meters, and then rest for 1 minute, and repeat that 8 times. Okay, and then we could save that interval set into the training session, and that gets added in. Okay, so that's probably enough to show you the idea, but you can specify those intervals as being measured in distance, time, or number of strokes. So that's our session there created. Now, if this is a session that I'm going to use more as a pattern that I'm going to use many different times, well, then I can add that as a favorite, okay? And that means that it'll be added to a list that we can use again. So that's that done. I can now come back to my training plan, and I can see that I have my morning session defined. And currently 100% of my training plan is now UT2 aerobic endurance. But if I go to the calendar view of my training, we can see that my favorites here has an extra session type added to it. I've got that Saturday morning session. But I also have some other favorites, like my Friday pre-race paddle pattern that I have, or that session. So I could drop that on, Friday the 19th or any other day I wanted to, and reuse that. So it happens to be a UT2, UT1, flagged as a UT1. I have a Tuesday morning session, which if I wanted to, I could add it on a Wednesday morning. So I can build up my training plan with these pre-built training sessions that are my favorites, as well as creating them from scratch, which is quite useful in terms of your time. So evening 1K pieces, we could do that on the Tuesday after the morning paddle, whatever that is. Okay, so we can build up our training plan from those building blocks, and we can see that as we build it up, the breakdown of this particular training plan gets updated. Okay, that's all I want to show you for this short video. Thank you for your attention. There's plenty more videos online showing the various different aspects of RowCatcher and how these sessions will be put onto the mobile phone of the athletes. So when they go to row, they will actually see these sessions on their mobile phone, and then they can record their data during rowing on the phone as well, using the RowCatcher app. Okay, thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.